I got a surprise delivery today here at the ranch, and I have to say the timing couldn't be more perfect because I just tied up some of the loose odds and ends on the 8N loader tractor, and I've been looking for a way to put it to the test. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. A friend of mine, actually it's the guy that owns the winter pasture, he was watching some older videos and he saw the one where I was trying to put some dirt here by the manger with the 8N, and he thought, correctly I might add, that sand would be a lot better there, and he's got a bunch of sand over there, so he brought me over a load. So now we got to run back to the house and grab the tractor and run it back down here and see what she can do. Hopefully things go a little bit better on this test. If you guys missed the last video when I tried to do this originally, I was having a problem with the tractor just sort of randomly dying on me, and then it wouldn't restart. I would have to bump start it. Since then, I've replaced everything in the electrical system, and I also replaced the starter because, as it turns out, the starter was bad. I think it was failing before in that video, and now since then we've realized that it is completely shot. So I put a different starter on it, not a brand new one, but one that was that tested out okay and works good. So really, there's no excuse this time. I don't see why the tractor would struggle, but we're gonna find out. Before we get started with the work, I have to be honest, and I have to admit that there's something about just having a pile of dirt sitting there that has awakened this childlike instinct inside of me, and I feel like I have to play in it, you know? And I think that I need to do that first, and then we'll get to work. That's enough playing around. Let's go back and get the tractor and get to work. Now, was that a good use of my time? Probably not, but you know, I think it's important to make sure that you have some fun every once in a while. Now, what are those? Thank the viewer that made the donation that enabled me to afford these tires, because without his help, there is no way that there was going to be room in the budget for new tires. This is huge. In fact, this project is running on such a tight budget that I wouldn't even pay the guys the $100 to mount these. I'm going to attempt to do it myself. I've never mounted tractor tires before, but I mean, how hard could it be, right? Well, I'm sure the cows are going to modify this a little bit more, but for now, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? I kind of have to laugh because I knew when I dumped the fresh dirt in here that they were going to want to sniff it and rub on it, because there's just something about fresh dirt that makes cows do that. But what I didn't expect was how many of them were actually licking it. Now that the job is done, I guess the question that needs to be answered is, how did the tractor do? Well, there were both good things and bad things that I noticed, so let's talk about both. First, the good. The tractor never once cut out or died on me like it did the last time I tried this, and that's got me feeling really good because I was pretty worried about that. Those electrical issues can drive you crazy sometimes, and it might even be too soon to say that this one is fixed for sure, but it didn't do it to me today, and that's definitely a good sign. I also feel pretty confident in saying that I've got the steering probably about as good as it's gonna get. There's a little bit of added effort when the bucket's full, but really not as much as I was worried that there might be. I understand that a bucket full of sand is not as heavy as a round bale, but I think overall, I think we're gonna be okay. And now the bad. The list of things that I need to do to this tractor continues to grow, and a few things that I already pretty much knew about that were really rearing their ugly heads today. So let me show you what those are. These lift cylinders are in desperate need of repair. You can see that the seals are leaking pretty bad, and they actually will still hold the load fairly well, but the amount of oil that they're leaking is just not gonna work. And speaking of leaks, there are several more in the hydraulic system that need to be addressed. The one that's got me the most worried though is that there is a little bit of a crack in the frame and the oil is leaking out there. So it doesn't really look like it's a structural weld, so I might be able to just patch that up with some JB weld or something like that. But if I decide that I need to clean the paint off and actually re-weld it, then that's just what I'll have to do. Now I think one or possibly several of these leaks are allowing the pump to suck air into the system, because any of the oil that's leaking out of there is cavitated, which means it's like foamy. It has a bunch of little bubbles in it, which means the system is getting air from somewhere. And I think that is what is causing that pump to squeal so badly. So I'm hoping that once I get all the leaks dialed in and patched up, that hopefully that squeal is going to stop. There's actually another thing that might be contributing to that squeal, and I think up here on the supply line it's sort of choking off oil to the pump, and I don't know if that's making it squeal or not, but it's certainly not going to be good for it. So with all that being said, I think it's pretty safe to say that I am not done with this project yet, but we're moving in the right direction. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch. You want to be friends? No? Come on, be friends. There it is.